How about them Cowboys? Click like Power Boys. Make you say wow boys from the QBs, DTs, LBs, and the Towel Boys. You tuning in to the team that win. Big game, first name James. He interview, he called the games. Silver blue, you know the name. From the Emmitt Smith to the Michael Irv. We beating skins, shooting birds. I see a Bengal snatch it out his fur. Favorite team on the planet Earth. From Monday night to Sunday church. DJ putting in the work. I'm tuning in, no need to search. Through thick and thin and good and worse. Them Cowboys, click like Power Boys. Make you say wow boys. From the QBs, DTs, LBs, and the Towel Boys. You tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the goddamn, they did it again. How about them Cowboys? Click like Power Boys. Make you say wow boys. From the QBs, DTs, LBs, and the Towel Boys. You tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that silver and blue done did it again. Them Cowboys, click like Power Boys. Make you say wow boys. From the QBs, DTs, LBs, and the Towel Boys. You tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the goddamn, they did it again. How about them Cowboys? Click like Power Boys. Make you say wow boys. From the QBs, DTs, LBs, and the Towel Boys. You tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that silver and blue done did it again.
What's good, everybody? What is good? Let me make sure we up and live.
Yes, sir. I think we are running, my friend.
Oh, we are. Can we hear each other?
Yeah, brother, I hear you loud and clear. It's info.
Oh, yeah. Okay, there we go. Get the mic back up. All right.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you again, you know what, because I've heard that song before. I told you, hey, man, I need that song. I need that track, man. I need to bump that in the car, man.
Yeah.
You ain't get it to me yet. I need that.
I'm going to get it. My son got it on his iTunes and all that good stuff.
Oh, man, you should have told me that. I would have went ahead and did my thing.
Yeah. Just go look up iTunes, SoundCloud, all that. Kid Columbus is going to come right up. K he says with the double D's like titties.
Oh, let's go. Hey, man, shout out to him. Fire, bro.
Yeah, and he got a few more tracks he just dropped as well. I don't know if it's on his new album, but I know he got a couple more tracks on there that are real good.
Hey, look, I'm gonna tell you what, just based off of that, man, I want to go check out more of the work. Keep it in the buck here.
Hey, I'm gonna just keep it real. If he was trash, I wouldn't hype it up. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't hype him up if he was not good. So he definitely got some real good skills, and I'm hoping a door open up soon. He's been on some radio stations. He's done linked up with some people in them streets. So hopefully, something opens up for him because he's got some talent, dog.
Yeah, hey man, like I said, from the first time I was on the time when you played that track, as soon as we went to the thing, I was like, hey, I need that stat. I didn't even know that was your son whenever I just found that out tonight that I didn't even know. Yeah. Bro, yeah. Shout out to the little homie, man. Doing his thing for sure.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. And let me say some shout outs. So before we get in here, man, Doza was good with you. Paris was good. Marvin Hargrove, you know what it is. Terrence Beasley, T Smooth TV, you know what it is. Well, I told you about that jersey. Make sure you stay on here. Get out there, like and share. We're both live on YouTube and Facebook on the pages simultaneously, so you can jump on both sides. If you're on the Facebook feed, jump in Facebook and share it all around. If you're on YouTube, jump in here and like it. Make sure if you're in
Like
the
it.
feed, like it. Don't just sit in the feed and not like, because it doesn't cost any money for it to do. Because we're going to talk about a lot of good stuff today. Because we got a big matchup, BJ, coming up
Yes, sir.
this Thursday. It's finally here, dog. I mean, it always seems like forever before that first game comes. You feel me? But
Yeah.
what's bigger than anything is starting in week one, first game of the year, you're returning Super Bowl champs against,
Mhm.
honestly, it doesn't matter what people say about it, it's still America's team. And it's a
Mhm.
big America's draw. And that's going to be a big, one of the probably the highest watched games of the year. Dallas is probably going to have top five. They're going to be in the top 10 on at least 4 or 5 games of most watched this year. And we can honestly say this is going to be one of them because it's a prime time game, week one. Going into this matchup, BJ, before we jump in anything, how you feeling, with everything that's going on before Thursday hits?
Man, I'm excited, and you kind of said that, but it always feels like it takes so long. And for us, with Dak getting hurt last year, but it's felt like an eternity to get to this point, to some real football with our guy four behind center. And man, I mean, hell, we was doing preseason numbers, watchability that was rivaling, some of these NBA final numbers, right? And yeah, man, to co-sign once again what you said, the world's ready for football to come back. And we're kicking it off Thursday with nothing else on the slate before Sunday gets here. So yeah, it's going to do big numbers, huge numbers for sure. And I like it, man. I'll be honest with you. I don't want to tiptoe into the season, dog. Hey, man, let's go test somebody right away. Let's put this young defense under the fire. Let's see what they learn. And let's see what happens when we go in there. I like the fact that Vegas has us big dogs at 8 points under, or, 8-point dogs. Okay, I love it, because the one thing I know about the Cowboys, it's the games that you don't think will win that we go win. You
Right,
feel
right,
me? So
right.
that excites me about it. They're going to be handing out the rings, the pageantry, the cannons. And I just I want that defense to go in there and show what they can do. A young Micah Parsons. These defensive ends get after it, and go out there and hashtag silence the cannons. I'm excited, man.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm more intrigued. I'm gonna keep it real.
Yeah.
I'm more intrigued because unlike the way the Bucks are coming in, they do have all their starters coming back, all 22 of their starters coming back.
Hmm.
They did add a few players and some wrinkles in there. So they're pretty familiar. Honestly, Dallas is familiar, but they got a lot of new moving parts, especially on the defensive side of the ball. With
Hmm.
the draft, you had a few influx of free agents. Like you said, Dak has been out, so there hasn't really been the super cohesion. The offensive line had missed last year. Zach Martin is going to be out, which is going to be huge in this game.
Are you buying that though, real quick? Are you buying like this little blurbs of, if he happens to pop 2 positive tests, he might
No,
be able
I'm
to play
not.
still
I'm not.
Thursday?
I'm not. I'm
I'm
not
not
buying
either.
none of that. I'm
Yeah,
not
I'm
buying
not
none of
either.
that.
I think
He's
that's a
out.
little cat and mouse.
Yeah, I just feel like they're just trying to make that, give the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a thought that he still could possibly play, and I think that's what they're
Mhm.
trying to play coy with. But he's out. He's not playing. You're not going to bring up that, and that doesn't come up. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Hold on one second.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. And of course, I mean, again, man, I'm
Go
just
ahead.
excited to see the defense. Yeah, I would say, I mean, I'm just excited to see the defense. Obviously, we got the 8 rookies defensively we drafted this year that are going to be out here and contributing and helping this team. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do. I'm excited to see Parsons. And look, right, we get D-Law back too. We haven't seen D-Law this whole preseason, and him and Gregory at these edges. Osa, can he get that push? Turnovers, definitely the key in my book, and we'll kind of get into some of that later. But I think this offense is going to be ready to rock. We've kind of talked about them. We know these pieces. The cohesion side of it, right, is going to be with the offense, even though Dak's been out, because they're familiar. It's getting to see this full plan unleashed with Dan Quinn, with these moving parts on defense, with the Brent Urbans, the Keanu O'Neals that they added, the KZs. What is this defense really going to look like here in Tampa?
Yeah, I mean, that's what's going to be the true test. Like I said, I'm not saying I'm even nervous about it, BJ, but the big
Hmm.
word that's keep coming up to me is cohesion. That's
Hmm.
the word that's coming up to me in cohesion on both sides of the ball, because obviously Dak didn't play all preseason. Ezekiel Elliott didn't play all preseason.
Hmm.
You just saw a little bit of Cooper, and I understand the stars, but you know what? A lot of other players did play, even though if it was a series or two, they still did play. So I worry about the cohesion. I know Dak hit the ground running last year with the offense, and it came out, guns blazing. But he also didn't have the injury last year. He had a few injuries this year coming in. So it's a
Hmm.
little bit different, in my opinion, how he's coming in. So I'm not worried. I just want to see how that cohesion is going to happen with these guys on the field. Is it going to be a situation where is it going to look like, is it going to be quick 3-and-outs because they don't have the cohesion together? Is it going to be mistakes on the line of scrimmage because your guy is not playing in Zach Martin? So those are kind of things I'm kind of looking at, BJ. And those are the things I'm going to want to watch in the first series, especially with Connor McGovern in. I'm going to keep the keen eye on him. I've been pumping Connor McGovern, BJ,
Me too.
more than anything, and he's been impressive in this preseason. I've been saying, hey, he could be the new left guard. If you don't re-sign a Kyle Williams, you slide him right in here. So to me, this is his time to prove his worth. I know he didn't get a lot of work on the right side, but still, you were drafted to play either guard position, possibly center. So you should be able to flux back and forth. So this is where he's really got to show that he is a guy going forward in their future plans, because we heard out there in the air that there were teams looking at him possible for a trade. So if they're looking at you like that, dog, to me, and I've been pumping you, you got to show what your worth is. And this is a perfect game to show it right here.
Yeah. And, the Cowboys kind of told us that really, and they telegraphed this a little bit in preseason, because they tried and flirted with the idea of Connor Williams at center, right? He just couldn't snap the ball. They really were in the idea they wanted Connor Williams at center, and McGovern actually starting to get the best 5 on. They can give all the lip service they want to. It's what they were doing. You don't come up to a guy, 5 minutes before a game, like, hey, you're going to start at center tonight. Then you're not really looking to see if he can supplant, who's at center. On the backside of that, when you talk about cohesion, right? What's the best thing for cohesion? Hey, for me, I'm looking at you, Kellen Moore. That's what I'm looking at. Hey, okay, your quarterback's back. The idea of maybe there's some rust there, some different things happening there. Well, let's get the quarterback. Let's get the cohesion rolling quickly. Little play action. Nice, easy passes to ease Dak in to this thing if you need to do that, right? So to me, when you talk about that cohesion, I'm focused on Kellen Moore and this play calling, especially, in the first quarter, maybe even the first half even. I'm looking for that play calling to help this team get up to speed if there happens to be any kind of rust that we're talking about with this offensive line missing, with Dak coming back now, snaps, even Zeke, because a lot of people don't really talk about Zeke. He's going to line up and eat, but I'm like, hey, guys, everyone that's worried about Dak not getting reps, Zeke got no reps either, and everyone kind of skips over that. Right. And everyone kind of, and everybody kind of skips over the fact that Zeke didn't get any reps. So I don't want to talk about that. The one thing that I think is a blessing in disguise, as we're talking about Connor McGovern, and I kind of tweeted this and talked about this on Twitter some, is, look, you don't want Zach Martin to miss. We know that. I mean, like that's, we know, okay? But gun to the head, if you're telling me Zach Martin or Lel Collins got to miss, man, I'd rather be Zach Martin, fella. You feel me? I'm not trying to hear about Terrence Steele starting over their right tackle or anything else. I'd rather Collins be here and let me start McGovern than the reverse, right? It's not ideal, but it's better than what the situation could be. So I'm trying to look at the silver lining as it pertains to that right side of the offensive line. But again, as a cohesive, and we're kind of talking about and using that terminology, which it works here with these guys that haven't had these snaps. Hey, man, that's, to me, that falls on your offensive coordinator and the play call he does to get them going and get them rolling in the game.
Yeah, that's going to be crucial. And shout out to Rika. She just jumped into it. Shout out to her. Go check out her articles, man. They always fire. So go shout out to her and what they're doing over there. Shout out to my dog, Jay Lombardi, for the $3 holler on the cash. I appreciate you right there, big dog, as well. But Steve, my dog, Steve Lumpton's got a quick question, BJ, and it comes up. He says, will we be able to stop the run? What's your kind of feelings, thoughts about that? Because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they don't come in with a weak offensive line. They got Tristan Wirfs, who was a A1 rookie last year. They have the Moffitt kid, Marpet kid. He's pretty well. He was pretty good as well at the guard position. Donovan Smith, Alex Kappa. They don't have a bad offensive line. Leonard Fournette, that was a good pickup, and they have the Ronald Jones.
And Ronald Jones,
How do you feel about will the Cowboys be able to stop the run? What do you feel about that?
That's the $1 million question, right? For real. And basically we attacked the entire offseason to try to fix that, right? Dan Quinn's cut from the cloth of defensive line, right? That's where he started his gig and built himself up and did those things. And we saw what they went and did in free agency, right? You went and got Brett Urban. Go look at the numbers, as my guy Matt Owen would say. And you can go see what he did in Chicago and where he was ranked as being a run stopper, right? The length, right? He's the right kind of guy from the build point that they're looking at. Now, it sucks because Gellimore's not here. I mean, that puts us behind the 8 ball some. But you see what Osa was able to do this preseason, right? You went and drafted a Bo, Big Bo Bahana, right? And you're going to plug him in to kind of plug that thing up and do some things. So they went and addressed it, but we got to see it in live with live ammunition. We just we were on with the Bucs report, and my guy Mark that was over there, and we did a show with him, and he even kind of said this. He's like, man, the one thing about Bruce Arians is he'll get away from the run quick if it don't work right away. Mm-hmm. He kind of wants to kind of, sometimes stay with the run. And said sometimes the offensive line was great at pass pro, but sometimes they were up and down on the pass blocking, or the run blocking, excuse me. And how's that going to transcend, against us? But again, we were 31st last year. You'd have to think that this team is going to look to test us early. Mm-hmm. Well, did you really fix this run defense or not? I feel confident, especially with Urban. I was excited about Urban out the gate. I feel like Cowboys is going to really love him and what he brings to the table. We feel like the linebackers have gotten quicker. That should help the situation with Neal and with Parsons. But again, we haven't seen this thing all together yet. And we're going to find out with the big test here in Tampa. But that is definitely the $1 million question. Look, I promise you, if we had that magic 8-ball, that magic crystal ball, James, and we knew, it would definitely change how we feel about this game going in.
Yeah, it would. But, it was good. Also, Carlos Watkins, a lot of people, I wasn't high on Carlos Watkins.
Yeah, another guy too.
He's another guy that, he played well in reserve role with the Texans. Mm-hmm. I guess I got soured from the last Texan guy they had on the squad. What was that doggone defensive tackle, man? They were hyping him, and I thought he was going to come in.
Terrell McLean.
McLean. It wasn't McLean?
Yeah. It was McLean, right? Yeah, because he was always hurt here. Yeah, McLean came from the Texans over here.
It wasn't McLean. It was somebody else's name.
Okay, fair enough. I know McLean was another one.
Yeah, I like McLean. But I guess I was – and Watkins, he wasn't super impressive with me. But you know what? Hey, he's a veteran. They like his push. He's got the long arms. He's very active. So hopefully that –
there you go. Eli Knuckle.
No, not even him. It was, what's his name? He was the same name as somebody who was light-skinned. It was like 2 years ago. They got him after they lost somebody. He was the defensive tackle. He was a backup defensive tackle on the Houston Texans. It's going to come up. Y'all going to remember.
It will. Yeah. It'll happen. Remember. And it will be like, boom, right?
As soon as the name comes up, y'all going to be like,
that guy. Like,
Harold, you in the chat. You should know your players. Who was that we brought over?
The other thing, too, is about Watkins and you're right, because I kind of talked about it a little bit as well, is that the one thing I think I've learned this whole offseason from Dan Quinn is that these guys that he brought in free agency, he had a plan in place. Sometimes before this year, we bring guys in. Christian Covington, there it is.
Yeah.
That's your guy. Yeah.
He wasn't my guy.
Well, I mean, the guy you were talking. The guy you were talking about, not your men's in there.
I was getting excited. I was trying to get hyped up for him when he came over, and he did a bigger wong. So know what I mean.
He just didn't get it done. But all these guys that he brought in, there was a specific plan, and I don't know if that's ever really happened before. Like there's an idea here, what you want to do and whatever, but it just really said like Dan Quinn's like, no, I need these guys. I'm gonna do something with them and put them in the right way. And even me, when we drafted 8 defensive players, I'm like, all right, guys. Like you look at your normal draft, you're not bringing those. You're not going to keep all those guys. And I'll be damned. There's no. Yeah, no, we are. We're going to turn this defense over. Period. Point blank. No matter what. So, for Watkins and whatnot, and what he's been able to do, he has a specific plan for him. And they told us this that he just kind of played a little out of position with the Texans. But back to your point though, James is like, look, song and dance, right? Oh yeah, we heard this before. Okay, but I mean, the proof is in the pudding. What we saw in preseason.
Well, we're gonna see. We got another question from my dog, the Lunatic. Shout out to my dog out there.
What up, Luna?
He says, how worried are you that 71 may miss part of the game because those stingers are another tricky injury? Well, this is what I'll say about it first, BJ, and then I'll let you go ahead and interject in it. I've been concerned since anytime I hear anything about a neck, I'm always concerned. And I heard some descriptions from some people about it. It couldn't be long term. It's just something that happens, like more like pinched nerves. I got a pinched nerve right now, so I can honestly say I know what it feels like and what he's going through. But I will say this: I'm sure I can play. If I wanted to go play ball right now, I can play on it. That he's had 2 back-to-back full practices. Mike McCarthy said neck stingers are gone. So if I'm going to go by that, I'm going to say, all right, I don't know if neck stingers can just disappear like that, But if he's too good full practices, he's full go on the practice report. So I'm gonna just lean on that. If he does come out the game, I mean, it is what it is. Terrence Steele's coming in, and then they're just gonna have to change up more 12 personnel. Maybe you're gonna have to get the blocking, move the tight end over, get the running back to chip those guys. It may happen like that if something happens. But from what I'm seeing from afar, if they're saying 2 good practices, he looks good, I'm gonna be more happy about that. And to your point, BJ, I am more happy of Collins and McGovern more than a Martin and a Steele, because we seen Steele, we seen McGovern. I'm gonna say McGovern is better of the two.
Completely agree, or as my homeboy called him, Terrence Aluminum. Completely agree. Completely agree. Eastside Herald, but this is the Texas flag, and the Cowboys run Texas. Get your knowledge up. If you don't know about the Texas flag, Texas over here, player. But no, same thing, man. I mean, as I said earlier, you feel much better about McGovern and Collins than not. I don't know. I mean, they said it's gone. Stingers. It's gone. It's out of there. He's good to go. And I mean, he had a padded practice that makes you feel a little bit better too about it. There wasn't just walkthroughs, if you will, like he went through a full padded practice. So yeah, I'm feeling Collins is good to go. I've had singers before by playing. The only thing about it, sometimes you think you got your punch and you don't, if that makes sense to you. Like the strength isn't quite all the way there when you think. That's kind of the thing you might have to overcompensate for, depending on that stinger. But as of right now, what they're telling us, I'm buying. And I don't always want to buy it, but I'm buying it currently, and we'll see. But I think he'll get through the game. I think that's where it's at with him now.
Yeah, I think he's going to get through the game. My biggest concern is, like I said, is he going to be the Leo Collins of a couple of years ago? Because once again, he hasn't played all year last year. He didn't play all year last year. Didn't look the greatest in the preseason. Not saying he was terrible or anything like that, but didn't look the greatest. So hopefully that's going to be rectified, because he's going to get a lot of pressure. I think is it going to be from JPP, or is it going to be from Barnett? One of them guys you're going to get it from. Even if they swap him, you're going to get pressure on your side. Right. So he's going to have to be able to hold it down more than anything. Now, I've been looking in the chat, and I've been seeing it myself. I don't know if he's out. I don't know if it was limited or not, but Chris Godwin had a groin injury. Is he out, or is it he's limited?
According to the Bucs AF cast, we were on the Bucs Report on Facebook. Shouts for them having us. I questioned him. I said, "Hey, what's the concern here? Is he out? Is he good? What's up?" He says it's more about a quad contusion than the groin, but he says he thinks it's okay and he's going to play. But now if he's limited, I mean, obviously that's something that helps us on our end, but he believes that he is going to play. I mean, it's more of a quad contusion than anything. So take that for what it's worth from that side that does, follows him and, delivers content.
Hey, but this is what I'll say about this, BJ. Like I said, we're continuing to get more people in the building. Please, let's continue to get those likes up. It doesn't cost you anything. We're talking some good stuff. We're going to be talking even more about this matchup. Doesn't cost you anything. I know it gets easy when you're just in the feed and you just forget to like it. But hey, let's get us some likes up. We'd like to get that and keep that algorithm up. And we really appreciate you for that. And we appreciate you on both levels today and both channels on Facebook and YouTube. So we really appreciate you jumping in here with me and BJ Nix as we talk about the Cowboys Buccaneers matchup coming up this Thursday.
Ooh, less than 48 hours away, bro.
Man, it's right around the corner,
real.
dog.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm sitting here. It ain't gonna get really real until I start hearing them cannons in the very beginning, and you see them running out on the field. And you're like, damn. You know what? It's really week one. This counts.
Man,
this is serious.
It's on the board.
You feel me? This one is real. So I'm excited now, but like I said, I'm looking for the cohesion. I want to see a lot of the cohesion. Now, I want to talk about a little bit of our defensive game. Now, we talked about, how do you feel about DeMarcus Lawrence? We ain't seen DeMarcus Lawrence. Randy Gregory has been really limited as well. Right. What is your keys for our defense? What is our keys to the game, to winning this game, BJ, on the defensive side of the ball? What will be your keys? What do you really?
I think it's I think the biggest two things are this. Look, I mean, Tom Brady's been around for 100 years, right, ladies and gentlemen? He's like 75 years old. I mean, we know, right? I mean, we just know Tom Brady. And the book's been written on him, because I know they tried to do this little, take this Osa clip and hype it up and kind of make some, but about getting him off his mark. But look, we know what it is. If you get pressure in Brady's face and get him off his mark, he's just not as good. My guy Maddo even dropped some information. Guys, quarterbacks under pressure were around 63%. Well, Tom Brady actually was a full 10 points under at 53% last year under pressure. So that's number one. One, you got to keep him off his mark, and specifically pressure up the middle. Not on this. I mean, get pressure however you can, but important pressures up the middle because he's not going to spin and run out. He's going to fall. We've seen that from him. He's going to live to play another down. That's how he is. The number two thing is, man, you got to get turnovers. I'm not saying, look, Brady's not going to give you a lot of candy now. We understand that. Although if you go back to the Green Bay game, even though they won, I mean, he did give you 3 interceptions, but whether it's stripping that ball out, right? And we kind of saw that this offseason, right? We saw Neal get a strip here, right? We saw Micah Parsons get to the ball. But I think that's the two biggest things. It's got to be pressure up the middle in Brady's face, and you got to win the turnover battle. I just think those things are paramount for this Cowboys defense. Now, yeah, I mean, we can lay up drill, stop the run. Okay, yeah, we kind of know that. And we're going to see how this gets tested. But again, if you go, to the more analytic side, turnovers, man. If you win the turnover battle, you're over 70% of the chance that you're going to win the game. So pressure up the middle of Brady's face and turnovers are my top 2 things for the Cowboys defense to go in there and help us get a win.
I'm going to definitely bounce off with you with the pressure up the middle. I've definitely been saying that, and the turnover battle. Yeah. That's the number one thing. We definitely have to win the turnover battle. If this is a situation where Dallas has 3 or 4 turnovers in this game, it's not going to be a good game at all.
It's a wrap.
It's going to be a bad game. So Dallas has to keep those turnovers, and they have to get, to me, turnovers in Tampa Bay's field, like a 30-yard line, a big sack fumble, getting the ball easy in the field position. But yeah, I was looking at something else as well. Just bouncing off what you said about the pressure. Last year, when Tom Brady, when he was kept clean in the pocket, completed 70% of his passes. When he was pressured, he completed. He was his drop back percentage was 76.3. BJ. Right. When he was under pressure, it was 23.7. His completion percentage dropped down to 40.9. When he was not blitzed, he completed 66% of his passes, and he had a 72.9 drop back percentage. When he was blitzed, 27.1, and his completion percentage dropped to 58.7 when he was blitzed. So what does that tell you? Just like you said, he's not good under pressure. I'm not saying he's not good, but we know he can't move. He's not going to be able to move. So the best way to get him is up the middle because he get the ball off quick. Brady is going to get that ball off. So where the DeMarcus Lawrence is and the Randy Gregory is going to be tough. But if you can get that pressure up the middle, that can push Brady over to Lawrence, can push Brady over to the Randy Gregory's, and then you get the strip sack from behind. But those numbers are going to be key. Numbers are real. So, and that is real as well. Under pressure, not as good. So Cowboys, press, especially up the middle. Don't be scared of Brady because we saw that pressure. I think me and you talked about it, BJ, in that Houston Texans game when Joe Wick called that game. And I'm sure Quinn was in his ear. But the blitzing on third down was lovely. And they've been blitzing about 46% on third downs. Don't know if that number still be that high, but the aggressiveness and calling timely blitzes, and they were getting there because you have the athletic ability of the guys, because I don't think it was these athletic guys last year. Now you have athletic guys that can come off this edge and really attack. So that's going to be key with me as well. Get that Micah Parsons kid everywhere, move him around, get him after and unleash him. I don't care if it's week 1. When we're talking about the greats, right, BJ? When I said this guy was going to be the Dak Prescott of this defense, Dak took over this team A1 day 1, and he never looked back, right? So I need Micah Parsons to come in here A1 day 1, game 1. It doesn't have to have a 15 tackle, 3 sack game. Doesn't have to be that, but you have to, his presence must be known in that game.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's big. Because look, maybe you can do some bend and break on certain quarterbacks, right? Okay. Maybe you can bend and break on some quarterbacks. Tom Brady's not one of them. If you bend and break, what was that number again? 70 what on them straight dropbacks? 76? What
75% on dropbacks.
Yeah. I mean, which tells you if you sit back, he's going to, I'm going to take this 4, I'm going to take this 5, I'm going to take this 8, right? I mean, he's going to take care of his business. You feel me? He's going to do that. So this is a game where you can't just sit back and try to be bend and break against this guy. You literally have to go ahead and do what you need to do. And as you said, and we've talked about this before a little bit behind the scenes. Like, man, we're like, man, or on Twitter, I should say, we're like, hey, man, let's hope this blitzes that they're doing with this new influx of speed and athleticism on defense, they continuously to do that timely. You don't want to be blitzkrieg, but timely, right? Especially on these third downs. If you're able to give them 3rd and 8s and 3rd and 7s, let's speed up that clock. Let's get the ball out of there. I'm completely there with you. Like, this is not the game. You can't go in there. If you go in there and play scared, you're going to get beat.
Right.
That's just what it is. You have to go in there and execute your game plan. You know what you have to do. Like I said, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand Tom Brady can put on track shoes. He can't run. You get that pressure up the middle, and you go get him, and you get him up his mark. The Giants gave it to you back when they were 16-0, right? And they won the Super Bowl on him, and the book's been written ever since. You got to have the dogs to do it now. Understanding what the gameplay is and be able to execute it's two different things. So back to that cohesiveness, if you will, it turns into execution for defense to get that pressure on Brady.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that's got to be key. So we're talking about some matchups right now. Obviously, we talked about the run game. What's a matchup that's going to be key from you when we're still on the defensive side of the ball? When you're talking about the receivers, the Mike Evans, possibly Goodwin, Antonio Brown, Gronkowski. What matchups are you looking at that we can maybe kind of exploit, or something that you don't, something who they come, somebody who can't get going on us?
Right. You know, I think one is, and we talk, and something I talk about a lot is, can you make a team one-dimensional? Because if you're able to make a team one-dimensional, it makes things a lot easier. So look, I'm telling you now, if we can't stop Ronald Jones or Leonard Fournette, it's not really going to matter what we do, right? Like if these guys are getting off and they're averaging 4.5, 5.5 yards per carry, it don't matter what Brady's doing because we can't stop the run. So to me, I think A1, how about, I'll use defensive line versus offensive line. And in particular, I'm going to go to the interior even. I'm going to go defensive tackles versus their guard center guard connection. Can we do the job against the run to make them say, okay, we can't just run on them all night? Because we kind of watched this last year. We watched it with, say, the Cleveland Browns. They just didn't have to throw the ball. I mean, they had their third-string quarterback who came straight off of a fishing boat, come rush for 100 yards on us. I don't even know if he's still in the league anymore. If you go look at the Arizona game, right? Kyler Murray didn't have to throw that rock. They were running the ball so damn good. They just continuously ran. It's like, good luck, guys. That's what it is. So for me, I'm going to go our interior defensive line, our defensive tackles versus their guards and center. Can we hold up at the point of attack, win even the line of scrimmage there, and stop the run? If we're able to do that, that all of a sudden puts Brady into 3rd and longs. If you put Brady into 3rd and longs, now we can unleash them dogs with that blitz and cut that pressure up the middle. But it has to start with us stopping the run, man. If we're not able to stop the run, if Urban and Osa and Watkins, they can't get the job done, Big Bohana, if they're not able to do some things in that front line to help stop that run, it's going to be a problem for us.
I'm hearing you on that as well. It's going to be a problem. We definitely got to stop that run game. It's going to be interesting because as much as I love Osa Ogadazua, I think he's going to be a star on this defense. He still is a rookie. Bohanna, I think he's going to be a very good player, but he's still a rookie. They know how to expose them. He still has those little things that they got to clean up. But I got a question right here from Shannon Sharp. Says, plus, how y'all feel about Cox playing? Because I don't feel good about Jalen playing at all. Brady's the type to expose him, to be honest. Well, that's all, and that's a good segue because I was going to ask you this, BJ, about the base defense. They were saying that I was hearing from Calvin Watkins that the base defense is going to be Micah Parsons and Jalen Smith, and then probably when they go to that nickel, it'll be Parsons and Keanu Neal, and then you'll probably be sprinkling in the LVE as well. I don't know if Cox sees a lot of time in this game. He's still green. I don't know if he does that. I wouldn't put that rookie out there with Tom Brady, not him, not right now. Not saying he ain't going to eventually be ready, but not right now. But how do you feel? Would you start the base defense with the Jalen Smith? Because I think if they're going to be run heavy, because this is what I say, BJ, and I said this a couple days ago, and I'm going to ask you about this. I said a couple days ago, this will be a good game for Jalen Smith for running because number one, Tom Brady isn't a mobile quarterback. Number
Right.
two, Leonard Fournette isn't a shaky, herky-jerky type guy. He's more a guy
Right.
that's going to run straight between the tackles, which is better for Jalen Smith because he can come straight downhill and he
Correct.
doesn't have to get exposed. I don't know if Giovanni Bernard is playing in this game, but that's going to be a problem. But then you sub him out, then you bring the Neal in and those type of guys. But how do you feel about Jalen starting in the base defense, and how do you feel about him in a matchup in this game with the Tom Brady, just like the question said?
Yeah, and here's and again, to me, I'm not trying to, talk both sides of the line here, but what's going to be the base though? Let's be clear, right? Because we saw a lot of 3-4 fronts this offseason, right? Preseason in the base. So to me, what it sounds like, it would be Urban, right? So you have Urban at the defensive end, also the other defensive end, and maybe a Watkins or a Bohanna over at your one tech, right? And then you would have 4 linebackers on, which would be Neal, LVE, Jalen, and Parsons, correct? Now, is your base defense now we're talking base defense and the idea that they're just going to come out, line up in 3 wide receivers and we're in nickel. I believe if we line up in nickel, maybe I'm crazy. And I just don't think it's going to be Jalen and Parsons if we're lining up in nickel right away. I just don't think it's that way. I think it's going to be Neal or LVE. I'm with you on the Cox side of things that it's going to take time or an injury for him to get a little bit more playing time. He did well. He maybe did a little bit more in the tackling game than we thought he could do. But for now, he's on ice until something else happens. But I don't know. Like if you're talking about your lineup, because we're going to play big nickel. I think that's a big thing that we definitely saw. If we're going to take one of the tea leaves we saw during preseason, is we're going to be playing big nickel, and that's going to be, the curses of the world is going to get involved on this nickel defense with 3 tight ends. 3 safeties and some things that they're going to do. But back to this base defense again. I just saw, is it going to be a base 4-3 under? Again, we're talking about 3 linebackers at that point. Sure, Jalen's going. Once you're past 2 linebackers, Jalen will be on the field. Now, what kind of percentage are they going to be on the field? More than 2 linebackers will depend. But if it's 2 linebackers, there might be times at Jalen. I just don't see it all the time. But 3 or 4 linebackers, yes, Jalen's going to play.
Yeah, I think if it's more the three or 4 linebacker sets, they'll play. But I think they're going to it's going to be a chess game, right?
Right.
That's why you have the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator. There's going to be a chess game between, you're going to have Leftwich on the other side, and then you got Quinn, and then you got Kellen Moore, and then you got your boy over there. What's his name? I can't remember his name. Daggone defense coordinator.
Defense coordinator for the Bucs. Yeah. Head coach for coach for us.
For us, Arizona with the Jets.
Todd Bowles.
Yeah. So that's going to be a chess match. But just like you said, BJ, I think if we're talking about, just like you said, it's going to be a lot of us nickel heavy. I think those may start the run game early just to kind of test and see what they can do. So I think you may see Jalen more in that base early, and then they'll kind of see how Jalen is playing. And I feel like if they're looking to see if he's not getting where they need to go, then they'll do the substitutions. And this is what I was talking about. I think maybe Boss had brought this up, but, about the coordinator being on the sideline or being in the booth. Now, last year, remember, we was frustrated with Nolan being in the booth. They say he got to get down on the field because he got to be with these players. I was feeling that at the time because it was such a disconnect. But I think this is different. I don't mind Dan Quinn being up there for the simple fact that you have a Jalen Smith, right? When you're up in the booth, I coached. When you're on that field, you can't see nothing. You can't see what's going on. You can't see matchups. You can't see where your players are going. You can't see where people are missing. When you are up in that booth, you can see everything that's going on. So if you see guys missing plays or their guys are not going their area, hey, get him out of there. I need to get him subbed in. And I feel like Dan Quinn has enough tightness with this defense.
Okay.
That they can trust him and not feel like there's no disconnect. He need to be down here with us. I think there's a better connection with the Dan Quinn and this defense for him to be able to go in that booth and be able to do what he wants to do because there's a little bit more closeness with the team with him on that side. Your thoughts?
Right. No, same. Now on that, I don't like my coordinators being in the booth, and I didn't like it with Neal last year. Neal. Jesus. God bless. The guy that's not here no more. Screw him.
Mike Nolan.
Mike Nolan. Jesus. And of course he had to come out. Right. He came out of the booth, So out of the gate, I was kind of like, whenever Quinn was kind of like, I'm going to the booth, I was kind of like, man, I mean, I don't know. But the difference to me is on top of how they were able to do training camp this year, unlike last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
We saw that the players bought into him, and we saw him be active with the players. So the fact that he's so involved with the players, I think it's different for him to be up in the booth than on the sidelines because he's already connected to them, right? And he's built a relationship and done it that way. So, and I feel like I think it's better in this sense. You know, if the Joe Witts or whoever's up there with him and they can have those talks without, I don't know, it feels better on, and of course it's a new season, and of course you want to feel better. We know what happened with Nolan, right?
Right.
But you know, it's a different approach, and if you kind of, it's a different approach to how he's doing in the booth, right? And we've got some behind the scenes looks on how he's doing it, and it's not the first time he's done it. There's the other thing too with him. This is something he's done before, unlike Mike Nolan.
And it's been successful.
Right. He's done it before. It's been successful. And Mike Nolan has not really done that before, per se. And it just felt like the players didn't like how Nolan was doing or teaching, and he wasn't feeling the players. So he got up out of there and went to the booth to hide in the back cave. You know, then he was forced to come back down. It was just really weird. It was awkward. And this feels more natural. And when it's that kind of natural feeling, I'm like, okay, this can work. This can vibe. Let's roll with this and see what happens. The one thing that I do know that I do like is I feel like Dan Quinn at any moment isn't scared to change.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if it's something he needs to do to fix that, he will. So, yeah, out the gate, for sure, not a fan, but I've been won over by what I've seen and how they've operated.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm one to. I like the interjection when you're with your players, but I also don't mind because, as I said, when I coach, I wouldn't mind being in a booth so I could see everything that's going on. And I could tell them, hey, and I feel like this. If I'm really close to my team and I'm really close to my defense and my players, I can go in the booth because there's the trust level.
That part,
There's a trust level that you built. So I can go in the booth because I trust you guys down here. I can be down there. And maybe one of the reasons why he came down there too, because he didn't trust the guys. Mike Nolan said, hey, this is not all messed up. We're all messing up. So maybe I got to come down here and fix it. So who knows all that happens. But I just feel like this year, we'll see. I think this is a better way because I think there's more trust going on between those two. So I got another question right here from the Lunatic. Appreciate you, dog. Says, who has the advantage in special teams? Because it may be a tight game with hidden yardage. Great question. The Lunatic always brings the heat with them questions. Now, before we talk about this, BJ, we got about 121 in the building on YouTube, which is awesome. And we got 49 likes. We got to get those likes up, y'all. Remember, doesn't cost anything to do that, man. Let's get those likes up. Creates the algorithm, makes it great. So let's continue to look at if you're in the building and you're watching this and you like what's going on, let's get those likes up. We appreciate it.
Hey, look, and I'll tell you what, if you don't understand, look, man, all you gotta do right there, little live chat. If you hit that little X real quick,
yeah, man,
you just hit hit that little X, hit that like, and hit live chat. You ain't gotta leave. You'll come right back in. Just hit that little X, pick it up, hit that like, and just click the little live chat, and you're right back. You didn't miss nothing, baby. It's simple. Sir. So I had to figure that out back in the day. Not everybody knows that. I had to figure that out my damn self.
Hey, so it's all good, man. So hey, let's continue to do that. Yeah, so we'll really appreciate that in the building. But what's your thoughts on that great question by the Lunatic on that?
Man, hey man, I've been
and Zerline just coming back, right?
Yeah, brother. I've been all preseason. I don't like the way the special teams is. I'm not trying to be a Davy Downer or anything for Cowboys Nation. I just don't look. I get it. Like Bones is supposed to be a great coach and everything and whatnot. I understand special teams was pretty decent for the most part last year. But man, I thought special teams was not very special this offseason. I just didn't like it. I didn't care for it. You know, I get it. The one kick he had was 57 yards and he missed it, but he had plenty of leg. Okay, so he kicked one field goal. Great. I do like the punter. You know, I do like Anger as the punter. I think he's been us more depth. Yeah. You know, I mean, he's been booing him, so I do feel comfortable there. And the one thing I do take with a grain of salt as well is you're playing a lot of different players that wasn't going to be on the team on special teams to get here. Now it's here. We should be locked in, right? Your aces are going to be out there, the curses, the good ones, you know, to be out there and do their thing. But man, I hope it's good, ready to go. What's the term that we started this? Cohesiveness.
Yeah.
That's hope this cohesiveness. I hope the cohesiveness of the special teams is ready to rock week one because, you know, during preseason, it just wasn't very good in my estimation.
Well, here's one other thing that I'm going to jump up, and I know a lot of people don't like me saying this, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. And I made a picture on my Twitter about this maybe about a couple
Mm-mm.
of days ago. The Dallas Cowboys also have one thing on special teams that I'm a little excited about. Got a guy named CD Lamb, and I know a lot of people,
Yeah.
get him off them special teams. He going to get hurt. You saw what happened to Dez, blah, blah, blah. I get it.
Yeah.
I hear y'all. I don't need him on special teams every single game. I don't need that. But
Right.
guess what? I posted a picture of Randy Moss, his
Yeah.
second year,
Yeah.
and he was on punt returns, and it was in a big game. It was on a
Yeah.
Monday night game against Kansas City. He had 3 punt
Mhm.
returns. He fumbled one, had one, another return. It was a short one. But guess what? They punted to him on the third time. It was 28-21 with like a minute left in the game, fourth quarter, and they kicked it to him. And guess what Randy Moss did? He did a game-changing play, and he took it back for a touchdown and
House
tied
call.
the game. You feel me? So that's why I said you never know. That's why you have a CD Lamb out there. You don't need to have
Yeah.
him out there all the time. But if
See,
we're talking about close games and hidden yardage,
yeah.
that's where the hidden
My
yardage
only
could be for Dallas.
my only thing is he just wasn't a good punt returner last year. I mean, that's. I don't look. I'm not really worried about the injury aspect of what he's doing. But I mean, go back and look at his averages and the returns and whatnot. He just wasn't a very good punt returner last year. Now that was last year. Maybe this year's better. Facts. I mean, look, and that's the one thing I always talk about, and I get on people like, look, just because the player was this last year, especially when they're early in their career. Now, once you're 4 or 5 seasons in, not that you can't make adjustments to be better, but we kind of get an idea, right, of who and what you are on the field. Man, he just wasn't very good at it last year. I'm sorry. I love CeeDee Lamb, but he wasn't a very good punt return. Now, maybe they didn't block it up right or whatever the case may be, but it just wasn't good. Now, maybe he turns around and he is a good punt returner this year. But that's really been my only beef with him being back there. I'm like, can we get somebody to be a better punt returner for us than what CeeDee Lamb was last year? Not so much worried about the injury.
Even kick return. We had Tony
Yeah.
Pollard out there, and we
Right.
wanted him back there to do anything. He hasn't turned up anything. We still have Dallas has still looked high and low to find
Right.
a good punt return and kick return game
Right.
because it's been a long time since your boy left. That had the long dreads, number 17. What was his name?
Oh, Devin Harris.
Yeah, Harris. I thought he was
Harris,
the
mhm.
best
He was
option
nice.
that they
Yeah, he
had.
was nice. He was
because
nice.
he
Because you got
could
Corey
break it.
Clement now, who did some return
Right,
game stuff.
right,
It was
right.
cool. Now,
We'll
whether
see
they
what
initiate
happens with
him,
that.
we don't know where
Right.
he's going to go. But he's
Right.
definitely got, he's definitely, chopped some wood in that area and been pretty decent at it. So we'll see what happens with him there.
I think that's where the question came from. Looking crazy, he just hit it right there. Does the new running back we signed do punt returns? It could happen. I think that what they'll do is BJ. They'll see how. I think they may go off about what you're talking about and to seeing if CeeDee Lamb, if he's got the juice to make it happen. But if he's back there and he's not making it happen, you can give a guy who, guess what? This is the thing with the Clement kid. This could be his forte. Whereas CeeDee Lamb, you are a receiver. So maybe maybe to your point with this, BJ, CeeDee Lamb is doing it because I'm going to do everything for the team. But maybe CeeDee Lamb doesn't go hard at punt returning as well because of injury factor. Maybe because that does play a part in when you're playing the game. I don't want to get hurt because I'm too important for this long term. So maybe I don't go all out when I'm doing it, when I'm getting my punt returns, whereas somebody else, they do.
I mean, there might be a former 88 that got in his ear about that. Just saying. I mean, they talk, They talk. So, I mean, it's just one of those things. Again, look, if CeeDee Lamb turns the corner and becomes a very better punt return this year, I mean, it's only great for us and great in what we do. It's just, last year, results may vary. It just wasn't very good. I would be super excited about, Clement coming back in and maybe he becomes the guy. But again, look, I'm open to see how Lamb does. And if he turns that corner, becomes, that guy's a punt returner, hey, it's all the better for us, right? It's definitely all the better for us. So, I kind of got some pushback because I was like, how can we generate Pollard more touches? Because everybody talks about Pollard needs more touches. I'm like, well, can he punt return? Well, he's never punt return. Don't put him back there. I'm like, okay, but can we at least see if he can do it and try it in preseason and see some things? But, obviously that wasn't their game plan and what they wanted to do, though. So, it looks like it's going to be Lamb week 1. And we'll have to wait and see, like you said, maybe a little shell game here with Clement coming in. And maybe he actually gets some chances as well, too. So
how do you feel about Dak Prescott, big dog? What kind of game do you think he has?
Man, I think he's ready. But, big Dak energy, right? I think he's ready to rock. I think he's ready to roll. I think when it comes to Dak, one of the things is play calling, right? We talked about this a little bit earlier. It's gonna boil down to early on, anyways. I think the play calling and the scripted 15 plays that these offensive coordinators do with Kellen Moore is that how can they script it to get him comfortable and get him rolling? Because I think once he's rolling and once things are firing, it's all gas, no brakes. Right? That's what the young kids say now. All gas, no brakes. I think for certain, if the Cowboys are smart and Todd Bowles being the kind of defensive coordinator that he is and wants to load that box up against Zeke to test them to see what Dak can or cannot do, it boils down to this: play one or play two. I'm big time play action, letting Dak pull it out of the gut, turn around, and airing one out to look over to that sideline and let them know, hey, the shoulder is okay. My ankle is okay. You must protect all this field or we will attack you. And I think they need to send that message very early from Dak with what they're doing and let them know. And look, and Dak and Corkin went early is going to get him ready to rock as well too. Shout out to April Showers. Good night. So yeah, I'm excited about Dak. I think the longer the game goes on, the more he's going to get more comfortable, the more things that we're going to see. So I'm brother, again, it goes back to play calling and what Kellen Moore needs to do, right? But I'm all the way in on Dak. I think there's no fear. I believe in him. Doubt me. If he's always been this kind of guy. Even when he said, "What pressure is privilege." No more pressure than this right here, right? Because everybody's telling him what he can and can't do. And as he said, what he's become a master of, right, is the outcome and his decision making, right? I mean, those are just the biggest things. So, man, I just think play action early, some 12 personnel, and get him eased into it, and then let him go and do what he needs to do is what's really going to work for Dak early on and get him rolling. You good, bro?
Yeah. Does Zeke have a big game?
He can, right? He can. It depends on the blocking.
Does he need a 20 to 25 carry game?
He needs a 25 touch game. I've been adamant about this. He needs a 25 touch game. He needs, 18 to 19 carries to stay balanced, and then another 5 or 6 on the edge, right? On the edge, get the ball out quick to him, maybe some screen action. But I think it's a 25 touch game for Zeke is what you need. Look, I mean, and if we're being honest, if we look back through Zeke's, the past, I think it's like 3 years, I think it's 9%. It might be less than 9%. I think it's around 9% that he's had 25 carries. So, yeah, not that he can't do that or that doesn't work. But again, I think being smart is you're going to run the ball 18 to 20 times with Zeke, and then you're going to find ways to get him the ball on the edge in space quickly another 5 to 6 times and let him rock. I think that's what's really big.
All right, I'm at this question right here. So who's our cornerback? Who's a CB2? Give me that answer right there, BJ. Who's CB2? It's Anthony Brown.
Yeah, I know it's AB. I mean, it's AB. They're going to walk AB out there. Let me ask you this because we got the cornerback, and I thought I want to ask you this. And here's one thing I didn't understand, right? Because they have a prototype, right? They have a prototype of all these different positions, including corner. Does Anthony Brown and Jordan Lewis fall into their prototype at cornerback?
Nope, but they paid them. But money, it's that money.
Yeah, but Brown you can get out of and save money. Now you gave Lewis the extension, fair, right? But Brown you can get out of the money. That's why I didn't really understand like certain guys they were shooting like the Asante Samuel Jr. that they took that they didn't want to draft, but because he doesn't fit the profile. But boy, you're walking these guys out here, as what they are, they don't fit your prolific profile that you love so much, but here we are.
But Kelvin Joseph's hurt too, though.
Yeah, Kelvin Joseph wasn't going to start this game, bro. It didn't really matter. Right. Yeah, he wasn't going to start this game. I do think at a certain point in the season, he should be your starting slot. I said it. They're not.
I said it too.
But the money,
follow that money. Jordan just got signed.
What can I smoke this black real quick? Got me high.
Go ahead.
You done got me high because Morris Kennedy should be your starting slot, man. Brother, this quarterback position is really going to piss me off. I'm sorry. I don't look like I love safety.
I'm a little worried. I'm gonna keep it real.
Yeah,
I'm
me
not
too.
saying I'm scared, but I'm a little
Yeah, I'm just
worried
worried.
about that position right now.
Yeah.
Week 1, going into week 1, I think it could be a problem. The only thing that could help us is these guys are going to be injured, and they have some injuries going on. But I don't feel good about Anthony Brown.
No, no, man. I just, man. And the look, and as I was talking to I was on the Bucs cast, and I was like, "Hey, man, a lot of y'all keep trying to run it. We keep stopping it because, man, I'm not looking forward to, AB versus AB violence, right? Antonio Brown versus Anthony Brown. It doesn't sit well with me. I'll just be honest with you. Again, not scared as you said. Just, man, look. We got to call a spade, right? Like, hey, look. This is we got it's question mark, but man, oh man, I just look, we're behind the 8 ball there. But look, low key, if we flip that, that coin, our 3 wide receivers versus our 3 cornerbacks, they're behind the 8 ball too. So there's your quote unquote saving grace, if you will.
So it's going to be KZ and Wilson starting.
If Wilson's healthy, yes.
Well, they got him full on the.
They got him full.
Report.
Okay,
they got him full the last 2 days.
It'll be them. But watch, Curse is going to get a lot of snaps, man. They have a plan for Curse. Again, this is back to the Walkers, the Urban, and everything else. They showed you in preseason, man. They have a plan for Curse, especially that big nickel. But it'll be Wilson and KZ. But Curse is going to get some burns, and we'll see how they mix Hooker and how they feel about him. Obviously, he played a lot against Jacksonville, right? But they're going to mix Hooker in there a little bit too. I definitely believe that. But KZ and if Wilson's full tilt, then Wilson's definitely going to be starting, in my opinion.
Yeah, he definitely needs to be starting because that's what
I agree.
We're waiting on to see what year 2 is Wilson because he still needs to show because it was a half a year, it wasn't a whole year.
Big facts. And look, and it took a lot of mess ups on the back end for him just to get on the field finally. Even his rookie season, I was like, hey, can we see Donovan Wilson? No, he's a rookie, he gets some play time. And Brian Barnes told me straight up, he was like, hey, unless there's serious injuries, hey, man, you're going to see Wilson till year 2. And that was prophetic because we damn sure didn't see Wilson at all year 1. And it took a lot of different misplays for him to get on the field in year 2. Now, we loved what we saw. And then we'll see how that, progresses. As you said, got to find out what he is. He's in year 3 of a 4-year deal as a rookie. So it's time to figure that out, longevity wise. But if he's able to walk through and be what he was last year, we got us a good one though. Now let's be clear. If he can continue that play, we got a good one now. But we gotta wait and see.
It's gotta go from what it was last year and continue on because we saw the trajectory, but it got to go on. Do you have any concerns about Trevin Diggs?
No,
everybody's hyping Diggs. Hold on, everybody's hyping Diggs, but he had some issues in practice.
Right,
he's going to get beat this year. I think.
Yeah, he's going to get beat.
He's going to get beat. But do you have concerns? Do you think he takes the next level?
I just think he's got the right mentality, right? We talk right that dog, right? That we talked about so much during the leading up to the draft and what we wanted to get and different things. So when it comes to Diggs, look, he's going to take his lumps, but boy, look at the murderous role that he faced last year, right? I mean, DK Metcalf, boom. Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley Jr., boom, right? I mean, you just go up and down. Claypools of the world. I mean, just go up and down. DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, he faced murderous role last year. So I just, it's not an easy task in Tampa. We know what they got at wide receiver, but I think, he has the right mindset. He works hard. I think it helps him a lot that his brother's a wide receiver that's played in the league. So he's he gives him keys. And I think that's a big thing for him as a resource. But I like it. I just think, Diggs, I'm not saying he's going to jump out here and be Jalen Ramsey this season. There's only one Jalen Ramsey, right? Let's be clear, right? And he's dropped it, top 5, top 6. But I think this kid is going to take, steps forward, and play better. And the thing about it that you loved even about him last year, even if he was beat, he was never out of the play, right? He never gave up, right? He would always strive and do stuff. So, for me, for Diggs, with his mindset, I think the biggest key for him is keeping that short-term memory, right? As a cornerback, you can't get caught up. You got to be short term. It doesn't matter. That's the last play. You move forward, and I think he showed that very well last year as a rookie. He's able to do that again this year. He can take the step forward. And look, we're not asking him to travel. That's another thing too that I think people forget about. We're not going to ask this kid to travel and go anywhere. He's going to sit, be comfortable at least on what side he's on, and go from there. So look, I'm not saying again, I'm not looking for him to go be an all pro and he's going to have 10 interceptions. That's not what I'm saying when it comes to him. But I think he's going to be just fine and take some steps forward in his pro career.
Okay, so we got a question from Mr. Ryan Carden. He says, "Have you seen Jarwin have a big game? Your thoughts?"
Well, unlike last year, as long as he's able to stay healthy, sure. I mean, look, if the Bucs come with the idea that they're going to play just rush their 4, right, and play some cover 2, and the Cowboys line up, especially in 12 personnel, the one thing that we know about Jarwin is he'll eat up seams. We've seen him eat seams up before. That's in his wheelhouse and all day long. So, yeah, if they want to play that role, yeah, sure, Jarwin can have a big game. But, that's going to dictate how they're playing and, what the game plan is for the Cowboys.
Right.
But, yes, he could definitely have a big game.
He could have a big game. I don't know. I think he might have more like of a 2-catch, maybe 20, 30, 40 yards. I think I think this might be more of a Dalton Schultz game where he can really hit underneath and you can get those underneath routes, the short routes. I would think it'd be more a Dalton Schultz. Now I got another question right here from my dog. Shout out for the $4.99 holla. He says, "What kind of game do you think D Law has against these Bucs?" Great question, because D Law hasn't played all year. He have a great season, in my opinion. What kind of game do you think he has?
Well, and you kind of hit something. You said great season, because the Cowboys can actually move off his contract and save $19 million in cap space next year. Let's be clear on that. So that's something to pay attention to. Like they can release him next year and save $19 million. So yeah, I mean, the thing about D-Law, and one thing I guess I always argue with Cowboys fans about to a certain extent is he might be the most complete defensive end in the league. I don't think a lot of people really understand how well he plays against the run. And I get it. That's not flashy. That's not what you want to get paid for as a DN. I get that. But he's very good at it. And he hasn't really hit nobody on the other side, right? You had Quinn for 1 year a little bit, okay, but he hasn't had nobody on the other side or that good push up the middle, which helps your defensive ends. And man, I can dial up the tape. I can dial up the all 22, and he's consistently double teamed. There's times they triple team D-Law. Those are factual statements. I can pull the clips and show you. It's going to be very hard for them to do that, not just because of what's across this line now, because Dan Quinn kind of understands how to scheme, if you understand what I mean. Hey, he'll do certain things. And you know what? I'm going to rush, whether it's a Jalen Smith or a Micah Parsons, but I'm going to stack him right there with D-Law, with Gregory on the side. You can't double team everybody. He's the one great thing about Dan Quinn and his scheme. He is very good to great at designing defensive plays to get his guys one-on-one matchups, right? And now it'll be up to D-Law to take that step forward. Now it goes back to the Zeke question, the Dak question. You ain't played no preseason snaps. He really didn't practice that much either, right, leading up to this game during the offseason. Did a lot of work. He did do some phantom drills and whatnot, but he's a professional, right? He's, we say these vet Wednesdays, whatever. How much does it really matter for D-Law to go through all of this where he's at in his career? But as far as a big game, I mean, look, pressure, man, pressure. If he can keep bringing the pressure, it's great. Look, and I see someone said D-Law needs at least 2 sacks. I mean, great. If he comes out his 2 sacks, that's fantastic. Stop the run and get pressure and go from there. Like, it's hard to really put a number of what he needs to do. How about this? How about tackles for loss? And that's something we haven't done very well defensive line-wise in the past 2 or 3 years. I ain't talking about sacks, just actual winning at the line of scrimmage and getting a run play stopped for a -1, a -2, or -3. Can we get some tackles for loss to put them behind the chains to unleash that pressure on third down? Because if you're 3rd and 1 and 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, you just really can't unleash, your pressure because you're behind. Now the defense is behind the chains, really.
Right, and I totally agree with that part of it. Is that you got to get the tackles for loss. They can't be in down and distance 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 3 because you can go. You can open up the playbook on that aspect. So to me, what kind of game does he have? I don't know what kind of game he has, but I know what kind of game he needs to have. In my opinion, he needs to have like one of those 6, 7 tackle games. where he's active in that run game, where he, like you said, tackle for loss. And hey, one of the things D-Law is, even though he may not get a lot of sacks, he does pressure. So I do need to at least see high pressures this game, high pressure game, one of those type games where he's at least always in that backfield, having Brady move around, moving him off his spot. Brady feels like he's always getting off the spot where he's looking for Lawrence, where he's looking around for him. That's what I need a deal to be happening. That's the kind of game I need for him. If he get, I definitely feel like he should get at least a 1 sack in this game. But heavy pressures, high tackles, he's got to be one of those guys. I know it's a lot for me to ask because you haven't seen him all preseason because he's coming back from the surgery. But he's got to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah, and look, and he's paid to do it. I mean, at the end of the day, right? I mean, that's what he's paid to do. I mean, so go out there, be that war daddy, and make sure you do what needs to be done. I'm with you because, as you said, the pressures, right? Because the other thing about Brady too, once you touch him up a little bit, he'll see ghosts. I don't mean it in a bad way. I don't mean it like he's going to fold like a young quarterback or anything else like that. But Brady will see some ghosts once you get touching on him. So if he's able to get that pressure stuff, if it just speeds up Brady's clock a little bit, it helps the cornerbacks that we just talked about that got me smoking and upset. So, I mean, all that helps. We need a big game from this front seven, not just against the run, but applying pressure via the blitz or whatever the case is to help out these corners and see what we have on that back end.
All right, so I'm going to do some because I'm getting a little staticky. So if we go in and come back right back out, BJ, don't worry about it.
Okay. All right, cool. No problems. No worries. Stay tuned. I'm right here. I'll hold you down. No problems. I'm jumping these. I don't care what quarter. I just need to see him get after it. Yeah, Paul, I feel that. And look, and D-Law always comes after it, right? I mean, D-Law's not a guy that bounces. That it's not an effort guy. D-Law is a effort guy. You don't see D-Law taking plays off ball. You feel what I'm saying? Like that's just what it is. So I'm not ever worried about D-Law and his effort, but impact, right? We're talking about impact. Can we get that impact from him that we need for this game? And that's just kind of the biggest thing that we're talking about. We're looking for, the tackles for loss, the pressures on Brady, touching, get some hands on him. Get some hands, touch him up a little bit. Hey, I'm here. Hey, fella, I'm here. Hey, big fella, I'm right here. And get him one time. Get him one time. Like, oh yeah, I'm coming. I'm coming tonight. Here I am. I will say this. I think for the Cowboys to be successful, I think we need. I think 4 sacks is the number we got to circle. I think we got to get Brady 4 times is where it's at. I don't care where they come from, but I think if you're able to sack Brady 4 times, what I think is we're applying a lot of pressure and getting him off his mark. So to me, I think that 4 sack range is really big for this defense going into Tampa.
Yeah, I like that, and at least. Maybe if not 4 sacks, please 2 turnovers. I like at least 2 turnovers in this game.
Facts. Got him with the turnover battle. You can't lose the turnover battle. Can't do that at all. Completely agree.
So before we get ready to head out here, big dog, give me a prediction.
Man, I've said it all week. I'm gonna stick with it. Man, I'm 27-21 Cowboys. Again, 8 points is too much of a spread for me with this offense. And granted, I get it. Got to see what the defense is. But what I know about the Cowboys, when we're big dogs, you know what time it is. And the Cowboys are big dogs and we're not supposed to go win a game. We're going to show up and win. Now if it's the other side of things, we might take it when we're supposed to win, right? It's just kind of weird. That's how Cowboys have been. But yeah, man, I got us 27-21 is where we're at. Again, I'm excited I'll tell you, probably the thing I'm most excited about, seeing Micah Parsons finally unleashed for an entire game, and let's go see what this young man can do. I'd love to see Dak back and stuff like that, but we've seen glimpses and what Parsons might be able to be. Man, we're about to let this young lion, right? He said the lion is always hungry, as he says. Okay, young buck, go make your mark on the league. You want to do it? Here it is, prime time. They're dropping the banner. They're firing those cannons off, handing out rings. With that going, Micah Parsons, go in there and do what you're going to do then. And let's see what time it is. And of course, like I said, man, 27-21, hashtag Cowboys silence the cannons.
All right, I like hearing that, and I'm a bounce off that Micah Parsons. I said he got to be the Dak Prescott of this defense. He got to go nutty. He got to go crazy. Let him go. Let him. If they talk about he could be the defensive rookie of the year, he He could be that 100 tackle guy. He could be. I see he gets 5 sacks this year. This is a game. I know it's early. I know it's week 1. I know it's your first game, Micah Parsons. But this is why you got to show why you were picked 12th. This is why you got to show it. You got to show it, Dan Quinn, when you're doing this defense and you're calling this defense. Let that man in particular, because this is what I said, BJ, before we get ready to head out here. And I appreciate you jumping in here. We had a great show tonight. Just want to say this. This defense becomes great if Micah Parsons is great.
Oh, say that for the people in the back. They didn't hear you. Say it for the people in the back.
This defense becomes great if Micah Parsons is great. That's just my opinion on that one. If Micah Parsons comes in here and does what we feel he could do, and just like you said, I want to see him a whole game. We just got flashes. We didn't see glimpses. And we seen it wasn't by chance in college. It wasn't, those weren't fake numbers. That wasn't no fake stuff. So the ability is real. Now we want to see it out there. We see the oozes. Now we've been hearing, oh, yeah, we should have took Slater and Dallas should have took Slater because one guy gets hurt or one guy gets COVID. And all of a sudden you should have drafted Slater. Come on, y'all. Dallas needed some damn defense. It was the worst defense almost in the damn history of the Dallas Cowboys. And you want to go jump and get an offensive line? No, Dallas needed to attack defense. They needed to get that together because it's been a very long time. We know Dallas had offense. Dallas done had an offense for ages. We know Dallas done had offense, but when has Dallas had consistent defense? That has been lacking. That's what needs to step up, because if you have your defense to go with your offense, it makes it easier for you to get in those games. Maybe your offense doesn't play good. Maybe Dak has a bad game. Maybe the offensive line's in flux. But if that defense is playing, you only maybe need to score one time. Maybe you only need to get a field goal to walk out of there. Sometimes those games may be like that. They may be ugly games. So this defense has got to show, and Micah Parsons has to be that dude. You drafted him 12th. He has to be that dude. So unleash this young man Thursday.
Yeah, in the back door as you come to the deck of the defense, and I'm right there with you. I've after I saw some things, I actually quoted a tweet and said he's the deck of the defense. They're similarly, their draft paths are similar, right? The Cowboys tried to trade up for another different quarterback, right? And they had to wait. 2 times they tried to trade for a quarterback, and Dak fell on their lap. Now, on a smaller scale, because it was the first round, Cowboys tried to trade up for a cornerback, couldn't get the job done, and to sit there and wait. And they ended up with Parsons, not because that's the guy they wanted, but the guys that they wanted were gone, right? And that's just, and it was came in and done, and he was on Twitter tonight with Mike Taggs tweeting, talking about what Cowboys issue that way. Again, it's you're right, man. This defense, it gave me chills. Though big game, ain't gonna lie to you, cuz ain't gonna lie to you. The fan of me, hey man, the fan of me gave me the chills, man. This defense, and you're right. You're absolutely 1,000% correct. This defense can become great if Micah becomes great, because you can build around him, and that's the biggest thing for me with Dan Quinn that I love so much this preseason. We need to see this in spades Thursday night. Is I was like, oh, they're not treating him like a linebacker. They'll put him at the zero tech and watch him. They're doing everything. I said, oh, he's Weapon X over here for this defense. Is what he is.
You have to use him.
Yeah, and I'm like, we have a defensive coordinator that gets it. Oh my God! So yeah, man, 1,000%. If this man's great, no different than Dak becoming in and becoming great, is what makes this thing go. I'm with you there, 1,000%, my guy.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Now, I got a quick question from the Lunatic. He says, will Kennedy start over J. Lou? Will be politics as usual? Politics as usual, because like you said, follow the money, man. You got to follow the money. When you see J. Lou just got re-signed back, and he signed for this, and Maurice Kennedy is on a low deal, and he's not on a multi-year deal, and J. Lou is, that's not going to happen, especially when this is a new coordinator. He's going to use the thing of, I got to see J. Lou. He's been the starter in this defense. He's been doing it. So that's the angle that it's going to come. But I will say this, BJ, I don't know if the quote unquote leash is going to be long with the J. Lou or a Brown. So even though they may start, just like we've seen basketball teams, they may start, but they may not be
But not
finishing. And that's
facts.
what the key is. It's not who starts, it's who finishes the game. So maybe they might be the starters early, but if Kennedy continues to impress, and I definitely feel like Joseph is going to be the starter sooner than later once he gets back from this injury, gets his legs up underneath him. He's going to be the starter more sooner than later. So I think Brown is just holding his spot right now. And I think J. Lou and that Kennedy is going to be a battle because J. Lou's not going to go anywhere. He's not going to just give it up. He has that competitive nature, and I
Right.
like that
Yeah.
because you like to have those two be competitive with each other because that only makes the team better, right?
Iron sharpens iron, brother. You already know what it is.
So there it is, in my opinion. So I don't give out scores no more, BJ. I just don't
Fair
do it.
enough.
I ain't
I
giving
hear
out
you.
no prediction. But I will say I Dallas definitely can win this game. I don't
Yeah.
know if they are. Some people, I want to say this one thing. People want to call you the fake fan or you a sorry ass fan or you ain't a real fan because you didn't say Dallas was going to beat the Bucs today. You a fake fan.
I don't
I'm
mean
sorry.
that.
I'm not the 17-0 fan. I'm not that 17-0 fan. I don't think the Cowboys every single year going 17-0. I'm not
Yeah.
that fan.
Yeah.
I'm more the realist. I
Right.
definitely feel Dallas can win this game, but
Facts.
it's going to be tough for me because of cohesion.
Right.
That's the biggest thing that keeps standing out to me, BJ, is the cohesion.
Yeah.
It hasn't been a lot of togetherness with the line, hasn't been a lot of togetherness with the team. So I don't know if they hit the ground running. So I worry about the early struggles.
Yeah.
And I also think Dallas cannot get down early. Can't be that game where it's
Right.
in the first quarter or second quarter and it's 14-0, and Dak has to jump back in there and go in shotgun and start throwing the ball everywhere. That's not going to be the winning formula. It's not.
Right.
Time of possession is going to be key for the Cowboys. Ezekiel Elliott is going to have to be huge in this game. Tony
Got to be
Pollard,
balanced. Yeah.
they're going to have to run this ball. Dallas is going to have to be physical at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, especially on the offensive side, because they can't let Sue, Vita Vea, Pierre Paul, they can't let those guys get off early. If Dak is getting that pressure early and he's running for his life and throwing the, that's not going to be good. So the Cowboys have to be physical.
But the biggest thing about that is don't run the ball first down.
Right. Be
Don't
creative.
do that.
Be creative, fella.
because running the ball on first down not being good means you're serving up Dak on third and long and getting punished. And yeah, man, you know what? And you're right. Like we're 17-0 until we lose a game. That's what we are. But we already know history tells us you're going to lose a game. I mean, that's what it is. This is this is a tall order. It's a tall order. Let's be clear. Not to be we're not being Debbie Downers or anything. Like, look, man, they're the first team since the 1977 Raiders, bro. Think about that for a second. They're the first Super Bowl champs, I think it's what it was. First Super Bowl champs is like 77, whatever it was. That retained every single starter in them some, which your draft picks and free agents or whatever. That's insane. I mean, that's just insane. So cohesively, they should be better. The one thing that does give me a little bit of ease, I guess, is, man, it's Crawford, it's Williams, Zach when he comes back, they play together some. Dak and Zeke are now veterans. They're not the little kids anymore. But the key with Dak is the fact that he didn't play preseason. He missed all that time last year, right? And we kind of understand that. Even Jarwin, right? Jarwin missed all of last year. When we talk about the cohesiveness and just expound on what you're saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Zach Martin missed time last year, right? Collins didn't play it down. So even though these guys have played together, when he's saying cohesiveness, these guys missed a lot of football last year. You know what I mean? Yeah, sure, the wide receivers played. Okay, cool, that's fine. But the meat and potatoes in football always comes down to the line of scrimmage, right? Like that's the age-old, never will be different when it comes to football. Offensive and defensively, who controls the line of scrimmage always puts you a leg up over your competition. And the cohesive side of it says, even though this offense is ready to rock from a talent standpoint, they missed a lot of football last year. They got to get back in the saddle and see what's good. And that's why early on, and I'll say it again, the first quarter, the 15 plays that they script out the gate, I think is very big for Kellen Moore. This is a very big Kellen Moore game to me. Like, we're going to find out about you as a play caller, dog. Like, be clear, because you're supposed to be this genius and all these things. Okay, cool. I'll buy that. However, You got to get the cohesive going early and get these guys rocking.
Yeah, and you know what? One last thing I want to say about that too, BJ, is the coordinators have to call a good game. Like you said, Kellen Moore, this is year 3. We can't continue seeing the red zone woes.
Right.
Dan Quinn, I know it's early, but hey, we got to see your worth. But more than anybody, to me, dog, is Mike McCarthy, bro. I was on the Mike McCarthy train when when Jason Garrett, when they were up for a coach, I said, Mike McCarthy is the guy I want to get. That's the guy I said. So I'm not going to run away from him. I was beating my hand for Mike McCarthy because you was with a successful team. You was with a successful quarterback. You went to the playoffs consistently. You went to championship games. You went to the mountaintop. So I'm thinking, you know what? I don't want to start with a rookie coach because when you see this team, it's already put together. You just need a few parts to really make it happen. So let's get a veteran coach who's been there and done that, and let's get there. So I understand last year, I ain't going to really give the COVID excuse, but I'm going to say you had 14 guys on injury reserve. That's more of an excuse from me because you really don't see that. This
especially
year, though,
number 4.
Especially. And then this year, though, BJ, this is hot fish grease to me. It was hot fish grease last year, but it's hot fish grease this year because there ain't no excuses this year.
Nope.
This division, definitely winnable. You must win this division, Mike McCarthy, this year. You must win it. I'm not telling him this is the Super Bowl bust this year, but I am saying you must win this division. You win this division, got to see a good showing because you got the players to be able to do it. I think by week 17, you should be seeing a good product from the Dallas Cowboys, in my opinion. So you should feel good going into a playoffs because the Cowboys should be making the playoffs this year. If the Cowboys don't make the playoffs, I'm not wishing this or anything, your Mike McCarthy should not be the head coach involved.
Yeah, and I'll backdoor that. Is that I will take it a step further. Like, you're right. They bare minimum, you got to win the division. That's 1. 2, you can't go one and done in the playoffs. I think you have to go get some pelts on the wall in the playoffs. I'm not there yet. I'm almost to the point of saying it might be NFC Championship game or bust for him, especially for healthy. Okay, but the backside of that for Cowboys Nation, and I said this on the prior show, is this: no matter what happens, let's say we beat the Bucs or we lose them, it doesn't matter either way. Be clear. If we face the Bucs in the playoffs, right, which is going to be over 17 weeks from now, it's a completely different game. Don't get too high or low on this game, right? Because we're finding the sea legs or whatever. Even if we win this game, doesn't mean we're automatically going to the Super Bowl. These things got to play out.
Right.
Take it 1 week at a time. Enjoy it. Win or loss. Don't get too high to get too low. Worry about, once we're week 3 or week 4, let's look at that record and see where we are. And then maybe you need to start worrying about some stuff. Week 1, we want to go in, but no matter what, it's not the end all be all.
Right.
Especially if we backdoor them in the playoffs, we'll be 2 different teams by then. And I'll shut up and be quiet.
Yeah, and just on that last note, BJ, that's what I'm saying. Here's the thing. If Dallas doesn't win this game, season ain't over, okay?
Right.
The season ain't over. This is week 1. This is week 1. So, like I said, my expectations aren't like a lot of other people. I'm not expecting Dallas to be this powerhouse coming out the gate because there's a lot of unknowns that I see. And I think, like I said, if it was week 5, I think it'd be different how I'd be talking because then I got to see how the team is. This is week 1.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this team together. We've seen the Bucs together. They brought all their starters back. We know what they're going to bring to the table. Right now, I don't know what the Cowboys are going to bring to the table. Not saying I don't love my squad and don't think they can be good, but I don't know what they're going to bring to the table right now because there's still a lot of unknowns on the line of scrimmage. Dak coming back. We need to see the cohesiveness. So I'm just going to be watching that first half. Is going to be real interesting because once again, Cowboys cannot get behind. Can't have no early turnovers in that game. Can't be that kind of stuff. Gotta be showing more. My thing, BJ, is when we were watching camp, it looked like, it was like togetherness. I need to see that. I don't want to see the penalties and just sloppiness. I don't want to see sloppiness. I want to see if the Cowboys, I can't stop saying that damn word. Cohesiveness just keeps coming back, bro.
Hey, good clean football. How about that?
Yeah, good clean football.
Good clean football. And in this defense, man, we don't know what look. man, we kind of always knew what this defense was before this season. If we're being honest, hey man, they're going to be bend don't break. Can we keep them off the field long enough and control the time of possession to get the dub? Things like that. We just don't know what this defense is going to be, and that's exciting to me, man. It was exciting last year, even when Mike McCarthy come in, whatever happened. It was exciting just to be a fresh. It was just fresh air, right? And the same thing with this defense, man. We just have to see, how they're going to play, what's going to happen. That's the unknown. That's why I said anybody telling you it differently, win, lose, or draw this game, we just don't know what this defense is going to be. And that's the biggest thing that we got to find out. And biggest piece of the puzzle, maybe, to seeing how far we go this season. But I do believe in Micah Parsons, and I do believe in Dan Quinn. I saw a guy here earlier kept saying he was the head coach of the DC. That's fine. He was a DC for 2 Super Bowl teams as well. Right. Won one, lost one. So you can talk about that with his DC credits on Atlanta all you want to, but he was a defense coordinator for 2 teams that made it to the Super Bowl prior to going to Atlanta. That's just more stuff in his pocket that he learned.
And honestly, if you've ever did any kind of coaching, I know if you wore more than one hat, it's hard. Let me tell you something. If you just concentrate on one thing, because when I just coached defense, I just focused on my players, one thing, and I didn't have to worry about anything else. When I end up running my whole football organization, and I had to worry about the parents, I had to worry about food, I had to worry about this, I had to worry about my offense, my defense, my players I had to worry about everything, BJ.
Yeah,
so
man.
It took away from my ability to focus on certain things at times, because I had to worry about everything else because I was in control of everything else now.
Yeah.
And now when you can just go back to one thing only where you were really good at, and it showed because you did get a Super Bowl over there and you went to a couple when you were there. So I think let's see. Let's hope. But I feel good about the young players that they have. And like I said, Micah Parsons is the key. So while we're getting ready to get out of here, BJ.
James, did I give you some gray hair real quick when you had to go to that head coach and all that? They give you a little extra gray hair? Did it happen? Had to worry about the food.
I mean, like I said, when I was this defensive coordinator of my squad, it was lovely because I could life. I was just me and my guys. It was just like our little. It was like our little crew. It was like our little thing. Like it was just me and my guys. We ain't worried about nothing else. It was just us against the world. But once I took over the whole organization, dog, it wasn't no clicking up because everybody was pulling me to the left and the right. People was calling me all day. Coach Jay, what's going on? This ain't happening. The cheerleaders ain't doing this. The blah, blah, blah ain't doing this. This ain't working. That ain't working. You need to get to the field. You need the refs ain't here.
Just let me breathe.
Bruh, I was like, man, y'all can have all that. Let me go ahead and turn this over to my guy because he's great at this. And I'm going to just go ahead and go back to doing my thing because that's just way too much, dog. I don't want it. For real, it was just way too much. But y'all know how we do out here. Y'all know how we do out here. You know, BJ got his own thing with them over there. Star Gang got them. Yeah, man. Go ahead and tell them about that. Your crew, everything got going on. Tell them
appreciate it, man. Hey, brother, you already know, man. We rock anytime. You just hit the hootie hoo, and I'm on the line. It don't matter. With that being said, man, you come catch me on Twitter right there. Your guy Nick's _in between, man. I'm about to push up to that 2K. Man, come follow your boy over there that way. Star Gang Podcast is a YouTube channel, man. We're trying to get to that 1K, man. It's a struggle out here in these streets, man. Come hit that sub for your boy. And if you're on Facebook, man, we're 7K strong. You know it's crazy, man. We're 7K strong at the group, brother. But I just can't get 500 more people from the group to come out to YouTube. Some people just don't YouTube, I guess.
Hey,
you know
man,
what it is.
You just got to push it. I mean,
the mantra, yeah.
Hey, I'm going on both of my platforms. You know what I'm saying? Just to kind of do the dual thing at one time. So some people don't go on YouTube and some people don't go on Facebook. They don't,
so, that's why we go on both. You gotta catch them from all sides. But if you're into the Facebook thing, Star Gang is the group, man. Come join. We have a page as well. Go like the page. And of course, man, go follow my folks. My co-hosts, my day ones, Mary Ella, aka Star Game Duty on Twitter, Spoonie881 on Twitter, and Professor O on Twitter. Go follow my people over there too, man. And like I said, man, it's all love over here, man. Me and James, man, we chop it up all the time. Man, it's a fam to me. Anytime he want to come on my side or his side, he already know, man. Hey, just bang my line. You know what it is.
Yeah, y'all know what it is, man. It's another good show in the books, man. I appreciate it. We kind of did this on the fly. Just hit BJ up and say, hey, man.
Yeah, brother. We didn't. You said sup. I was like, hey, what's up? I'm thinking about going live. I was like, let's go. With no pre-production, with no. We just cut this thing on and win. That's how we do.
That's how I do it, dog. Like I'll be telling people, I don't unless it's like a set person like my dog or Mike White. I'll just be hitting people up and I'll be like, "What you doing tomorrow? What you doing in like 2 hours? Oh, nothing. Want to go live? All right, then. Boom. There we go. That's how I do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And because I mean, we just talking football, man. It ain't nothing. We ain't doing no rocket science over here. We talking Cowboys football, man. We're just having a good time. But hey. We're getting ready to get out of here, man. Let's hope we get that dub. Thursday it's finally here. Raymond James Stadium, whatever the hell that stadium's name is called, with them cannons, like you said.
Silence them cannons.
Silence the cannons. I heard Tuck say he wanted to silence the cannons. I'll run with that. I'll go with that.
Sink the ship, even hell.
Sink the ship. Silence the cannons. Blow it up. Be a pirate ship up in that Joker, and let's raid that ship. Whatever we got to do, but let's get that dub out of there. Because guess what? If Cowboys can pull out that victory, man, it opens up a lot of eyes in the NFL that, hey, this team may be serious. But I'm telling you, BJ, that defense is what it's gonna. I don't feel like it's gonna be the offense that's gonna win the game. I feel like it's got to be that defense, and I need I need to see a Micah Parsons
go ham. Unleash it.
Get that 10, 11 tackle game and 2 sacks and that 1 pick, forced fumble. Ooh. It can happen, dog. Unleash the Kraken.
Unleash him. Oh, let's go.
Unleash the Kraken. And please unleash him, because I'm telling you, BJ, when he gets to going nutty, that's when the D-Laws.
It's going to feed.
That's when the Randy Gray.
It's going to feed.
They all going to flow off him, dog.
You know
They're going to flow off him,
You said Kraken. You said Kraken. I just got to think.
Release the Kraken.
Ain't that what they did, like a Pirates of the Caribbean, to something that pirate ships with that Kraken? We used to grab it and bring it on down. Ain't that what it was?
Yeah, well, that was the Release the Kraken. That was the Clash of the Titans when that Joker.
Right, it was Clash of the Titans, but I know when they had them pirate ships or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
That Kraken came. I'll see that movie right on point. Look, silence the cannon, sink the ship, release the Kraken. The Kraken can do it.
The Kraken can do it. So release the Kraken. We need to release the Kraken Thursday and get cracking the Bucs heads, and let's get this dub. Y'all know how we do. Another game in the books. We'll be talking to you soon. Game time is Thursday. I don't know I don't know if you're going to be going live, but I might be going live and do color play-by-play. Who knows? But you'll just see. Let's get this dub. We'll be talking to you soon. Big Game James, BJ Nix, and we out. Peace.